And you need to take a look how freaking crowded it is. You got everyone clustered together. Sorry, clustered is not a good word, but grouped together to log into MALAYSIA.
Hi guys, it's me, Tiffany, also known as Tiffy. And I'm coming to you from my hotel quarantine room. Before we get into the quarantine room itself, allow me to share a little bit about a process that happens at the airport upon arrival. So the moment you get out of the plane, you are all sort of like ushered to a little group. And this group is where you are meant to fill in your MALAYSIA details. But instead of just relying on the app itself, you do need to scan a QR code that takes you to a website. And at this site, you fill in the details of your name, your address that you'll be quarantining at, passport number, as well as your flight details. Now, if you are like us and you are choosing a standard package, you will not have the address that you are quarantining at. And instead of having to squeeze to the front to ask the lady like we did, you now have the knowledge to know that all you need to do is fill in the state in which you will be quarantining at. And that's just, you know, write your final destination. Either that's going to be KL, that's going to be Selangor. Write that as your home address, and then that should be your final location. Once you fill that in, it doesn't get you off the hook for not downloading MALAYSIA app. You still need to have the app on your phone with you, because what happens is after you update the website, there will be a notice that pops up on your app. And this app notice that shows home surveillance order is what they will need to see before they allow you to board the aero train to the other terminal. And that's when you're headed off, but not to immigration yet, but that's where you're headed off to your PCR test. You immediately get to see a doctor. There's a table of doctors that you sit with, and then they sort of ask you whether you have any symptoms. It's all very procedural. They take a look at your passport. They also take a look at your negative PCR test. So make sure you have that handy with you. We didn't print ours, we had it on our phone. That was completely fine as well. But that does mean that you bear the risk of them having to hold your phone and touch it. So maybe that's something you want to keep in mind. Once they have all the information, they'll write you a little slip that you need to take to another lady at another counter. There are so many stations throughout this entire process. So at this station, this is when she will make you sit down and they will call you by name. Once they announce that you and your party that you're traveling with can go and take your PCR test, you just collect all your details like your passport and that slip earlier I mentioned, and head off to the PCR counter. So this is a cordon off area where they swab you. You are not allowed to take pictures or film here. And the guy we got was very gentle, but the lady next to us, boy was she rough. So we're very lucky that he was the person who did our swab for us. But we are really, when it comes to COVID swab tests, it really depends on your luck. After having done so many of the PCR tests on our own in England, it felt a little strange having someone else do it for us again. But then again, they go much deeper and they do it much faster. So that's a pro. That's a pro of having doctors do it for you. After your test is done, you don't get the results immediately. These are results that come a few days later. After the PCR test, they take us to a payment counter, and this is where we pay for the test that we had just done. And fortunately for me, mine was free because I went to the UK to take an exam. So all I had to do was show them my exam slip and the exam details and the purpose of my travel, and then they stuck a little student sticker onto my passport, which allowed me to get it for free. So if you're a student, please let them know that you are a student. Show them your student ID or show them any proof of examinations that you're taking if you're traveling for those purposes. If you are not a student like Seth wasn't, we had to pay 150 ringgit. And you can pay with either card or cash. So those are your options. We were then later on ushered along again to the hotel section. So this is where it's split into two. If you have paid for your hotel stay, or if you are taking the premium package, which meant that you paid to the hotel directly, then you would go to the paid for hotel section. They do something else there. However, Seth and I were standard package holders, meaning that we did not choose to pay extra for this stay, and then we would then put together at the standard package where they do not tell you where you'll be staying. For the certainty, you can pay a little extra and go premium, or if you don't mind a little surprise, with the hopes and fingers crossed that you don't get somewhere that's too bad, you then go for standard, which is what we chose. And that meant for us, it was going to be a fee of 150 ringgit per person, but because we chose to stay together, the second person was at half price. So it totaled to 225 for both of us in one room, with food included for 14 days throughout the entire stay. Once you're at the standard counter, they get the details of the main room holder. In this case, it was Seth, and I was his dependent. So they keyed in those details, and then they asked us to move on to another counter. When I asked the lady, hey, do you know where we'll be staying? She sort of just smiled at me and said, you'll find out on the bus. Okay, Okay, so we then moved on to the next counter, and this is where a lady will be waiting to gather everyone to board transportation together. So if you took a premium package, you will be on either a van or private vehicle transportation, whereas if you took a standard package like we did, then you will be on a bus. So they needed to make sure there were enough people traveling together and enough of us who will be taking the standard package together to travel on the bus to our quarantine hotel. At that stage, we also still don't know where we'll be quarantining at. I tried my luck to ask again, and she also once again told me, you will know on the bus. So okay, that's fine. After they read out our names, we were then ushered outside. We managed to get our luggage, and then they sanitized everything, including the backpacks you're carrying, any sling bags. So if you're carrying anything nice or leather or suede or anything that cannot really get wet, I would suggest maybe that's not the best time to do so during a pandemic. So yeah, definitely carry weatherproof travel material, and then when they sanitize and spray, you won't get any sort of heartache. Later on, they found a bus for us. They put all our stuff inside. We also realized that those who had left earlier on the premium package still hadn't left as well. If you're on premium, it doesn't mean you get to go off earlier. It just means that you probably get to exit the airport a little bit earlier, but you still need to wait for your van or vehicle to arrive. Then on the bus, they didn't tell us where we were going. We didn't have the opportunity to ask the driver. But I would say that kudos to the bus provider, because the chairs were really comfortable and they managed to maintain social distancing. So every row would have a row that was empty between them. And although all of us had probably been on the same flight and didn't socially distance on the plane, it felt pretty nice that, you know, you feel like SOP is being complied with. After about a surprisingly short 25 minutes, we found ourselves in front of our hotel, and this is where we get to Movenpick KL. Here we are in Movenpick. This is an amazing bathroom with a tub. We have a table for two of us. Okay, it's not a balcony, but at least it's a bright open space. Oh, I thought we could go out. I'm trying to clean the surfaces, so it's very important to wipe the surfaces, because look at this. It's actually filthy, and this is the table we're supposed to eat from. When you come in here, please make sure you pack adequate cleaning equipment. An essential is to wash our plates, sanitizing wipes, because imagine eating off these. So we're going to be wiping all the tables, the side tables, the cupboards, the drawers, any surface that we touch frequently. I think this is quite a nice room. Actually, I wouldn't complain. This is also considered a premium room. So I think some people do pay higher prices to stay here. Maybe they get a better room. So I wouldn't really think it's a bad deal.
Okay, so this is meal 1, day 1, lunchtime. What do we have? Rice, looks like some chicken curry. And then here we have salad dressing and watermelon.
Seth has already broken his cutter.
There was a little piece of tape at the end.
Where is it?
Very tightly on.
The desserts are not the same. So today, Seth's. And mine. This is jelly. Dinner. What do we have here? Oh my gosh, Seth's favorite, I think, sardines, aka his least favorite. Chicken, some curry chicken, which is basically the same menu all the time. What about this? This is a... Come on, babe. Come on, you got this one. Oh my gosh, wow. Babe. Okay, I think it's like one of those desserts. Oh, yep, no, it's kacang. It's okay, so it's green bean soup. Alright, so this is a dessert. I decided to transfer my food into a bowl to make it feel more, you know, like homey. Good morning! It is day 2 of being in quarantine, and I have my breakfast with me.
as well as my lunch because I slept through breakfast. So let me just show you guys what we have here today. So all the food comes in plastic containers, I think because we are at risk of spreading potential COVID, so they just want to minimize washing, which is not very good unless you reuse it, of course. This is consistently what happens. Anyway, what we have today is some fish, curries, and some more curries. I'm pretty sure there's a name for this, but I'm not familiar with it. But in addition to that, lunch also comes with vegetables, because I think one of the largest concerns people have about quarantine food is whether or not there is sufficient fiber. So we have a few cubes of watermelon and a little cube of veggie. So that's our meal. Let me just try them. I'm also currently texting the room manager. So I found his number online. Okay, so alright, thank you very much. So I found his number online because there were a bunch of people complaining or complimenting Movenpick, and I didn't want to immediately, I personally don't think that we should immediately start flaming companies on social media. Also because I run a company, so I'm always afraid of that. So I always prefer it when people kind of like reach out to me first, which is why I'm reaching out to the head of rooms, Muhammad Faisal, who's really nice to us. And yeah, so now he's bringing over the extra food because Seth and I are in the same room, but they've only consistently been bringing food for one, and we have to keep following up later on for the second meal. Which is not very nice because by then one of us has already eaten and we can't eat together. Okay. Breakfast fried rice is alright, not too bad. There is some fish cake and that. Yep. Okay, I kind of want to try lunch now. So this fish is gonna have to require hand use. Let's try the sambal thing. Okay, I like the sambal, sweet and spicy. The rest of the quarantine will be us working from home, but I plan to make a few more videos, so please subscribe and stay tuned for more. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye! Babe, someone got flies in the food!